Good morning, good people. We've just been waiting for people to arrive. There have been quite a lot of people drifting in as the witching hour arrived. So we just wanted to wait for people to get a cup of coffee, a biscuit, settle down, and we're at that point now. So apologies for keeping you waiting, but I don't think timekeeping is necessarily one of Plett residents' strong points, but that's fine. We live in a holiday town. When I was associated with the tourism business in Kariba, they used to call it Kariba fever. You know, everybody slowed down to about half pace, and it's one of the great things of living in a holiday town is we're not under that pressure and that rush. But I'd like to thank you all very much for being here. This is an amazingly good turnout, and it's always nice to see a full audience when one appears in these meetings. So thank you very much all for attending. I'd like to especially welcome some dignitaries that are present: Councillor Bill Nell, Councillor Jessica Kumkum, media representatives, welcome Chris, Nature's Valley Trust representatives, Cape Nature and Sandparks. Thank you very much for showing interest in what we're doing and putting in an appearance today. If any dignitaries have arrived, since I had this list prepared, welcome you as well. I'm not going to recognize you because I have one of two options. I have to wear my glasses, in which case I can see you, but I can't see what's in front of me. Or take my glasses off, and in which case I can see what's in front of me. Just to report that the board has successfully discharged its oversight mandate during the past 12 months and has met at approximately 3-month intervals as required by the Plett Tourism Constitution. I'd like to thank all board members for their time and commitment in support of our hard-working CEO and Plett Tourism team. It's a thankless task in many ways, being a board member. It's a non-remunerated position. It does take up a significant period of time when meetings are held, so we always appreciate those who are willing to become involved, become members of the board, and give of their time and expertise. Looking back to the 2022 AGM, and I always like to do that when I'm preparing what I'm going to say next year, because it's amazing how much can change, particularly with COVID, the previous year, and so on. I find it difficult to believe the extent to which the face of Plett has changed in the last 12 months. You know, we've emerged from the COVID situation, and the busyness of Plett has just grown exponentially. I don't have figures as to how many more permanent people are living here, but Plett has become a busy place. When we moved here permanently 18 years ago, it was a very, very different story. 2 or 3 years ago, it was very different to what it is today. From last year, I personally can notice an exponential growth. A lovely thing about Plett, though, is it seems to be able to absorb this sort of thing. You know, people say, well, it's getting too crowded, and you know, we should stop people coming to live here. I'm not sure how you do that, and that sort of thing. But from a personal perspective, and I do very much enjoy the nature and what Plett's all about. We've had a home here for about 27 years. And to my mind, it's just got better and better and better. Yeah, parkings can be a little challenge and various things, but you don't get the impression of an overburdened, overcrowded town, even during holiday season. You know, we've recently come back from Italy, spent 5 weeks there, and we have no idea what crowds are. Cinque Terre, Rome, Pisa, Florence, we went to a wide range, and it's just unpleasant to go there. These are all places I'm glad I've seen, will never go back again. The towns we stayed in, more typical Italian towns, closely located to some prime sites, but the experience there was absolutely wonderful. On Monday, I went out with ocean safaris, whale viewing, to accompany some political dignitaries and representatives from Plett Tourism. We enjoyed an amazing time and spent a lengthy period of time in the close proximity of about 6 southern right whales. The weather was lovely, the sea was calm, absolutely amazing experience, and it reminds one of what a great experience one can have in Plettenberg Bay. But the enduringly significant part of the experience was the answers to some questions that I posed to our very knowledgeable guide and his assistants, the boat captain, which revealed the following information. There are currently between 24 and 27 adult southern rights in our bay. I can't say that's the highest ever, but it's certainly, I think, the highest number for quite a lengthy period of time. I'm looking at Patty, and she nods. If I'm talking rubbish, then she shakes her head. And amongst those are about 6 or 7 calves. Another item of note is that as the gene pool improves, after the southern right was hunted to virtual extinction over many years, and obviously the sailors would choose the biggest whales, they've known an exponential increase in the size of the whales arriving in the bay. And this year we have some absolute monster females for viewing. The other interesting part is the declaring of Plett as a whale heritage site has notably increased interest in viewing whales in Plett, and as a result, the organisation that we went with, it's been their busiest season in 10 years. So this is amazingly good news for our town, which is now one of only 7 whale viewing sites, whale heritage sites in the world, and one of only 3 sites in South Africa, and is currently rated as the top whale viewing site in South Africa. Amazing that this all is. These things seldom happen as a matter of coincidence, so there is a deeper story to tell. In 2022, Plett Tourism held the first Ocean Festival, which attracted a great deal of interest arising from an amazing event with amazing presentations by the contributing speakers. At the conclusion of it, I received a call from Rob Smith, who is a guy that I know in other circles locally, and he said to me, "Bruce, I've been so motivated by this festival, and I see an opportunity to get Plett declared a whale heritage site. Will I have Plett Tourism's backing?" I said, "Rob, all the way, there's Patty." And they put together a team and did a lot of hard work. And this just shows you, you know, I'm in a very nice position of being able to pump Plett Tourism up a lot because I don't do the work, I just chair board meetings. You know, but we've got an incredibly hard-working team who have great vision, and indications are that this achievement is going to have huge impact on tourism arrivals in our town, and generally that is impacting your high-end tourism, people who bring money to the town. You see, that's what a tourism association should be doing, making a difference. And Plett Tourism has made a massive difference to our tourism industry during their years in office. I know this because when I first became involved in trying to motivate a tourism board, it was about 14, 15 years ago, and our tourism was in the doldrums. We had a tourism association of sorts, which was achieving absolutely nothing except spending a lot of money, and the exponential growth in the first 3 years and thereafter has been amazing. So considerable gratitude to Rob, who is a great demonstration of what our residents can contribute to the prosperity of our town. Rob's not involved in tourism. He's just a guy who's very interested in photography and all sorts of things, and he had an inspirational moment and got something moving which has benefited our town. I like to think that the whales are also aware of our new status and have arrived in numbers not seen in recent years in support, but maybe that's just wishful thinking. But for an absolute fact, when you get an appointment like that, the worst thing that can happen is people who come here and not see any whales. So it sort of emphasised what we are about and what we're achieving. Another item of very good news, that Plett Tourism now has been granted a 3-year contract by Plettenberg municipality to act as the local tourism organisation with all that involves. A recognition, I may say, in this context that has been far too long in coming. Our relationship with our Plettenberg municipality partners continues to be strengthened and consolidated into a mutually supportive and cooperative team, which is so important in tourism space. And I think I can confidently say that the relationship is more comfortable, more positive, and more constructive than it has been in past years. And I think that we can look forward to extraordinary outcomes as a result of that. In closing, I'd like to very sincerely thank Plettenberg municipality for their support and commitment to funding over the next 3 years, all our members and others who recognise the positive impact of the work being done and lend their weight and resources in support of Plett Tourism. We value each and every one of you, as you are an essential component of the success story that is Plett. I'd also like to thank Patty and her team for the extraordinary work that they've done, very often in very challenging circumstances. And the fact that there are so many people attending today is a vindication of all of that hard work. Well done, Patty. And on that, the attendance register and proxies, I've no doubt we have a quorum here. Patty?
There is.
Liz is counting up for a quorum. There is a quorum, and I think we've captured everyone for the attendance register, and there was one proxy. Unless there were any other proxies from the floor? No. Just had the one.
So we can confidently proceed. The previous minutes from last year, how's that going to be presented? Has that been circulated, or?
Previous minutes were circulated to our database and also through our WhatsApp groups, and it is available for viewing online since I think it was 2 weeks after the AGM, so it's under our members tab.
Super. Are there any matters arising from those minutes that anybody would like to raise? Okay, let's move on. I'm now going to invite Patty to the podium to present the Plett Tourism Annual Report. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you. And I just want to say that they managed to get the aircon on. They had packed away the remote because it was winter, so they had to go and find it in order to put the aircon on. Unfortunately, we've got this lovely big wind today, so I'm just going to put this down. Unfortunately, Cindy, our general manager, is not here today. She is man down with the flu. Otherwise, because I will be pointing out our team members during the presentation, but unfortunately she is not present today. First and foremost is an acknowledgement of thanks. The Plett Tourism Association would like to acknowledge the B2 municipality and our communities throughout B2 for their commitment to our most unique selling points, which is our lands, our forests, our waters, and our indigenous cultures. Thank you for your continued support and upholding the integrity of our brand. What is Plett? It's a feeling. I thought I would just dive in with some performance indicators that come through our surveys, our engagement with key stakeholders, and engagement in surveys that are done by the Western Cape Department of Tourism, Westgrow, and SA Tourism and some of the other stakeholders involved in the Western Cape. So according to the research, our Plett accommodation establishments reported a 2.06 average daily length of stay for this past fiscal year, which is actually growth. When I first started in tourism in, 16 years ago in Plett, the average length of stay was 1.3. So even throughout COVID, we've seen a growth. And we have to remember that this is the average length of stay, and the average occupancy pre-COVID was 50%. That's if you take it throughout the year. We know that season sells itself. That's usually about between 96 and 100% occupancy. But average per year, we're up to 2.06 nights stay, which is actually a very good number, and it is one of the higher numbers along the garden route. You'll see that 3 to 7 nights is pretty much on par to 1 night, which is actually really good stats. The average establishment daily rate for this past fiscal year was 2,470 Rand. That comes from Booking.com. Booking.com, as most of you know, is the main portal for bookings throughout South Africa. And it is for primarily, I would say it's probably sitting at about 50-50 international and 50-50 domestic. But those figures are really good in comparison to where we were last year. Overall, Plett accommodation establishments reported an increase of 106% for pre-bookings. And those are pre-bookings for this forthcoming fiscal year, so July 2023 to June 2024. And that comes from Booking.com as well as our survey results. Plett accommodation establishments reported an increase of an average daily rate from the 2470 to 2537. So we do see slight growth. I don't think it's on par with inflation, but taking into consideration that we are only partially through 2023, I think that's a pretty good number. And in general, Plett accommodation establishments reported an increase of 60% for international travelers for this past fiscal year. Post-pandemic, gates opened, and people were ready to travel. So the accommodation establishments reported 55% of bookings were for a domestic market and 45% for an international market. That was for last fiscal year, and you'll see we've kind of outlined for you where those general markets are coming from. Obviously, domestic market is South African. That is followed by Germany, which is one of our more traditional markets. Pre-COVID, Germany and the UK were our primary markets, and you'll see that the Netherlands has significantly increased, and that small blue piece of the pie, which I don't know why the title didn't appear on there, is actually Israel, which is very exciting. These figures come from a combination of Westgro's research within the Garden Route, Booking.com, and Plett Tourism's research. And what's interesting for us is that couples, 66.7%, families has grown to 22.2%, small group travel, 8.9%, and solo travelers. You know, solo travelers used to not actually be on the pie. But I think with the increase in voluntourism, the increase of nomadic tourism, and people working remotely, I think that's changed. So local performance-wise, we often have indicators that we report on a yearly basis. And we kind of gauge where we are a little bit based on these stats and figures. So the Beacon Isle Resort reported an average occupancy of 91% for last fiscal year, and 96% for this fiscal year. And that is 100% for season. So, you know, the Beacon Isle has a general turnover of 200 new guests each Saturday throughout the year. So for us, it's a huge indicator that people are coming back to Plett. Cape Nature, specifically Robert Nature Reserve, reported day visits of 81,835 individuals for last fiscal year. So for the 2022-2023 year, it's more than double what they reported in 2021, and it's even higher than it was pre-COVID, which is significant. It's significant on several levels. Number one, it shows that you know, people who are coming to Plett, these are people paying for day passes. There is a nominal number that have the wild card. So generally your domestic tourist will have a wild card. You know, somebody from Joburg or Cape Town who frequents hiking. Locals have wild cards. So this is a great reflection on the number of new tourists that we're getting to Plett, and particularly international tourists. And exciting for us are the new markets that are coming to Plett. Booking.com has also reported that we have just overtaken the town of George when it comes to accommodation bookings. That's the first time since I've been in this industry. We even had a phone call from the general manager of George Tourism to congratulate us on overtaking them. So I think that's quite exciting for Plett. You know, we are, I think, a quarter the size of George. We have amazing products and services. We don't have big hotels. We don't compete in the large Indian market, the large Chinese market, the large Japanese market, because we just don't have the large enough accommodation establishments to bring in those big tour groups. So the fact that we have overtaken George is huge. It's a great indicator. And I see there are several new faces in the audience. Those that are not quite familiar with Plett Tourism, I'm just going to kind of give you a general overview of who we are, what we do, and you know, some of the ideology behind the association. So we are a voluntary association, registered as such, established in 2013. Our purpose, our primary purpose, is for destination marketing and destination management, and has been for the past 10 years. Our goal is to maximize the tourism economy's contribution to be spread out throughout B2. And we're very strict, I don't think strict's the right word, but we very much stick to our guns when it comes to our values. We are united as an industry, and we really try our best to keep everyone united. We're very innovative. Our team is extremely innovative in what we do. We're often used as model case studies when it comes to marketing campaigns, publications, advertising, and the launch of specific products and services or events throughout the Western Cape, which is quite an accolade to the team. We're committed. You know, we work, you know, if you're in the tourism industry, it's an endless job. Sometimes it's 24/7. You know, you get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night, sometimes midnight. You fetch kids at rage. You do all kinds of things in this industry. So we have a very committed team. And we believe that the value for what we bring to the town is the best return on investment that we have for our members. I like to think we bat way above our weight, above our budgets, and I think that comes from the commitment and the innovation that we have as a team, and then working with you as the members, because without, you know, us all being united, we wouldn't be able to do that. Our general functions and deliverables for the past 10 years have been to increase product awareness, brand Plett first and foremost, and then the different products and services we offer, to increase traveler knowledge. what is Plett about? You know, it's coastlines, it's marine life, it's Rauburg, it's hiking, it's indigenous forests, it's restaurants, it's wine farms, it's you know, Ekasi culture, it's all kinds of things. So we really focus on educating tour operators, travel agents, and wannabe travelers to Plett about what we have to offer here. That comes with increasing the desire to travel. They kind of go hand in hand. We conduct a lot of research and we analyze a lot of trends. We spend a great deal of energy on analyzing trends so that we can be upfront, in the front, and can be used as those role models in the tourism industry. Because we you know, we take research and we take innovation to heart when it comes to international travel trends, local South African travel trends. We don't, you know, we try to be innovative when it comes to that. And our stakeholder commitment and communication. Not just with our members, we also reach out to other stakeholders in the tourism industry. You know, we, this past, I'd say probably 2 years, we embarked on a journey to put together a Plett Trails network stakeholder. And it's worked to our favor. It's taken us a while, and now we're embarking towards getting the wedding industry stakeholders together. And then we'll move forward with some other stakeholders. Because we realize that niche marketing is very important for Plettenberg Bay. And in order for us to maintain the integrity of what we are as a brand, and then to also bring innovative and exciting new products and services and encourage the members to create those as well, is that we need to have stakeholder engagement. And stakeholder engagement isn't just about sending emails, setting up our WhatsApp groups. It's also about having platforms where people can voice their opinions, can give ideas, and that we can talk through them. So the organizational chart, we currently have a board of directors that sit on our board. And just as an FYI, all of this information is under our membership tab on our website, which at any stage, if any of you would like to go through that, you can contact Tandi, raise your hand, Tandi, our membership manager, or myself, and we're happy to sit with you and go through that membership section of the website, which kind of outlines all of this as well, but in a more detailed format. We have a board of directors. Our chairman, you met earlier, is Bruce Richardson. I was appointed to take over the CEO position in October. It'll be October 3 years. It'll be 3 years. Our general manager of events and festivals and our general office manager is Cindy Wilson-Trollope. Our administrative assistant for operations support is Andy Seaway, non-Kosona. She is at the office today. And then most of you probably know our front of house manager, who also runs the information office and the concierge service, is Emily Potgieter. And our other information officer and assistant for the front of house and also works with Cindy on events is Brady Boyson. Right, Brady? We have identified going forward we need to focus on a public relations officer who will be involved in more PR activities and marketing. We do have a communication manager, that's Janet Middleton. She's in charge of content and the digital side of things, and also with media liaison work, but primarily content. Travel and trade assistant is Portia September. She's been with us for about, I just think, over 2 years. She's not present today. She recently had a child, so she's excused from today's meeting. Our treasurer and bookkeeper is Liz Phillips. She is here today as well, Liz. And our membership manager is Tandi, who you met coming in, and she waved earlier. And our website and systems manager is Brendan Morris. Brendan gets roped into anything that is electronic. Thank you, Brendan. These are just the faces and what they do. This presentation will be available online as well. It'll also be circulated to everyone present today, as well as the other members who were unable to be present. Just kind of gives you a friendly face of who we are, what we do, and what our primary roles are. And then obviously Bruce Richardson and our Plett Tourism board members. And they're all listed on our website as well. So if you have any questions about who is the team, who is currently sitting on the board, it's all there for you on the website. So I think many of you understand some of the trials and tribulations we have been going through for the past year. Not only did we come out of quite a treacherous pandemic, we also had some other obstacles to overcome, and I just wanted to say that the Plett Tourism Board acknowledges the dedication and determination the Plett Tourism team has displayed throughout the year as we have navigated through a chain of exasperating events. And when I say exasperating, they have been exasperating. The Plett Tourism team has continued to work under these stressful and unusual circumstances to ensure the integrity of brand Plett has been maintained, as Bruce pointed to earlier. Our team would like to thank the association members, our members, for your patience and your continued support throughout this process. Thank you. So just going into some performance that we as Plett Tourism have done for this past year, some of our operational highlights. You know, one of our pillars is increasing potential travelers' product awareness. How did we do that? We've done that through publication features, focusing on the domestic traveler, and we still focus on the international traveler, but we've really pushed hard, and what we learned during the pandemic was the domestic traveler needed a little bit of TLC. So we still have a very big primary focus on them. Our Facebook Watch series has had over 5 million views. Our YouTube videos have had over 1.04 million views. That's a lot. We do regular journalist and influencer hosting. We send out that should be a monthly subscription newsletter. We also have a business-to-business newsletter that goes out quarterly and a tour operator newsletter that goes out quarterly. And we also do automated product updates on a regular basis. And these images kind of illustrate some of those product awareness campaigns or activations that we were involved in. More details about where we were published, who the journalists were, can be found in our quarterly reports, which are online. We break it down for you in monthly reports, and then in quarterly reports, you know, we list the names of the actual journalists who came, who we entertained, the names of the tour operators who came to Plett that we engaged with. Those are all in our monthly and our quarterly reports. And those are open for the public to view at any stage. It's online. So some of our digital media highlights for the year included our Plett Trails app, which was launched in March this year. We have had a huge focus on adventure and nature, marine ecotourism, a big focus on our people of Plett and stories that are coming from Plett, lifestyle, arts and culture, always big news to share, and our seasonal pillars. So we run 4 marketing pillars. We have wine and food is a marketing pillar, adventure and nature, culture and heritage, and Plett Summer. And we have those divided up through different quarterly times of the year. It has worked to our advantage so that we could focus and harness all these wonderful stories and products and services and things that are happening in Plett into particular marketing niches. So exciting for us was that when we launched the when we launched the Plett Trails app, we launched the world's first green flag mountain biking trails at the same time. So it garnered us amazing exposure when it came to digital media and through traditional media methods. These images illustrate how we were positioned with some of the key stakeholders, some of the response we received, particularly the one in the middle. We had a reach of just over, well, almost 213,000 people with the launch of this Plett Trails app, and in particular with the Green Flag mountain biking trails. Another big highlight for us, as Bruce mentioned earlier, was being recognized as a cetacean whale heritage site. Now, cetacean is a term used for a whale, a dolphin, or a similar mammal in the marine environment. And as Bruce said, we're one of 7 in the world, and we're one of 3 in South Africa, which is actually very good for South Africa. We're the only one in the Western Cape. It has garnered us extreme interest in the marine life sphere, and in particular with whale watching. You know, Hermanus traditionally has been the capital of whale watching, and according to Getaway magazine, recently we are now the top whale watching location in the country, which is great news. And you know, this information is shared by SA Tourism, Cape Nature, you know, some of the 5-star hotels, people who have amazing reach. And this is not promotion that we have paid for. So this is where we go back to this return on investment for the town. We as hospitality industry stakeholders benefit. But not only do we benefit, the whole town benefits at the end of the day. You know, because people, in addition to going to restaurants and going to look at the whales and staying in your accommodation, you know, they're going out to the shops, they're shopping, they're hiring taxis, they you know, they're buying whale memorabilia from shops and things. And so we have to remember that you know, the return on investment is actually much greater than what we can measure. But what we do know is that we have the reports from the activity sector saying it's the best whale watching they've had. And these are numbers that are post-COVID. And even though our accommodation is not maybe as high value-wise as it was pre-pandemic at this stage, we are going to see a huge return on investment from this, because we were only acknowledged in March winning this accolade. So this is going to take us a long way. Storytelling is also very, very important for us, and it is something that garners us a lot of views, a lot of return on investment when it comes to getting Plett Tourism out there and getting the brand Plett out there. We have a in-house journalist mentorship program that's run by Janet, our communications manager. We identify young journalists in the area who need a little bit of guidance, and as we have seen in the past with this young lady in the front, they get picked up by other publications and they go to PE for a while, and then they land back in Plett with opportunities with other companies. So we're very excited about that program, and we like to feature the people, the places, the stories that we call Ikasi Life. And that is a focus on the people, the business that make up all the different communities within Plettenberg Bay. Here you'll see we have the Hay Lifestyle Chisenyama, Kasi Lifestyle Chisenyama. We have a little focus on storytelling with Nature's Valley Trust, because they are part of our communities and a non-for-profit. You know, it's important, and they are very much aligned with our focus on adventure and nature. maintaining our most unique selling points, and it's important to share that news. So other digital media highlights for this past year included at the Plett Arts Festival with the Real Dancers and with 204 TV, who broadcast that and filmed it for us. It was amazing. You'll see the Beacon Isle in the center there. You know, Beacon Isle is just an iconic place in Plett. It's hard. Sorry, Janet, I can't read it. Oh, it was their 50th year anniversary. Sorry about that. And you know, we often get flack because the Beacon Isle is in a lot of our imagery. It's hard not to have it in our imagery because it's on our coastline. When you're taking a photo from certain areas, it's inevitable it's going to be in the photos. But it does paint a pretty picture. It's timeless, and it has a historical value. You know, it was built to resemble a whale. I don't know if it was a whale fin or a whale itself. It was formerly a whaling station, but it's been an amazing beacon for us, in essence. You know, we have amazing features in things like the Inside Guide or the Good Things Guide. You know, they share our news, and that's important for us because we don't pay for that. We don't pay for this publicity. These are people in the industry who we engage with on a regular basis and who have an interest of good news stories and exciting things that are happening in Plett. And then the last image here is our Ocean Festival, which, as Bruce outlined earlier, it has been an amazing experience for us to see how wonderfully it's been accepted into the community and also into the academic research community when it comes to marine life. I think we actually the envy of several coastal towns in the fact that we just decided to do it. We just said, well, we're not going to wait for other people to do it. And we started small, and we started that festival with a very, very small budget. And during a possible another COVID outbreak. And so we formatted that festival, and we've kept it as such that it's small, it's niche, it's special, and it's garnering a lot of attention. So as I mentioned earlier, we have several different ways that we get information and communication out to our members and to the public. The first is we have a monthly newsletter that goes out, goes out to a subscriber base of just shy of 8,000 people. That's the one in the middle. And that highlights new products, new services, exciting new events that are happening in Plett. It has links to our calendar of events, and it's really good news stories that are happening in Plett. And the fact that that's an unsolicited subscriber base of almost 8,000 people that we have built up over 10 years. The one on the left-hand side, that is a quarterly newsletter that goes out to our business. It's called our Business to Business newsletter, and then also our tour operator newsletter. Those both go out quarterly. Same thing, they are very specialized. They feature new products, new services, things that you as a stakeholder might not be aware of, and as what tour operators might not be aware of. And then we also have our 4 WhatsApp groups, which are industry specific. So that is for your tourism services, your accommodation, your restaurants and your activities. And then we also have a general WhatsApp group that is subscribed to by anyone who wants to be interested and wants to know what's happening in Plett. So the total subscriber base for just the industry groups is 885 people. So that's Plett people who are subscribed to those groups, and they generally have businesses in Plett. So increasing travelers' knowledge, we work very closely with SATSA, with Vedhoza, and with Westgrow. on these projects, and SA Tourism. So we increased potential travelers' awareness as a preferred travel destination. We attended WTM Africa. We hosted a Westgrow and SATSA domestic mega fam trip, and a mega fam trip is a large educational trip. We were present and participated at the Garden Route Adventure Exchange Educational with SATSA. We, as I mentioned earlier, have a travel trade quarterly newsletter. We launched our Plett Trails app at the Cape Town Cycle Expo and the Paarl Cycle Expo, very strategically. That was the soft launch, and then we did a big launch at WTM Africa to garner interest and to harness individuals' information so that we can communicate with them as we go about our Trails Network. We were involved in 2 private educationals. One was to a cycling and outdoor media and tour operator educational, and the other was with a luxury media group and tour operators, and these were private. So we do these, we assist privately with accommodation establishments in particular. If you have an educational that you are wanting to host, and you maybe need some guidance on how to host it, what to do, we can assist you with that, with itineraries. We can assist, we can come and meet your group. We do VIP bags, welcome packs and things like that. So we encourage anyone, if you are hosting an educational, to please reach out to us, and we would love to be able to assist and help where we can and even publicize it. We were involved with a presentation to SA Tourism Europe, their European office. We are involved with a joint marketing initiative with our Garden Route District Municipality, Westgrow and Fedhaza, and recently being recognized as Cetacean Whale Heritage Site. Increasing the desire to travel, we are focused on a Chase the Feeling campaign, hashtag Chase the Feeling. Great for everyone to use it. It just adds value to what we do. We're involved with Westgrow's Get in a Good Space campaign, which is their never-ending tourist campaign. As I mentioned earlier, we have 4 niche marketing pillars: Plett Summer, Plett Wine and Food, Plett Adventure and Nature, Plett Culture and Heritage. We engage with our products and services on a quarterly basis to get stories, photos, news about anything that is new in your business that we can help highlight under these pillars. Increasing desire to travel fell very much hand in hand with the launch of the Plett Trails app and our Plett Trails stakeholder engagement, Cetacean Whale Heritage Site again, and our Blue Flag Beach program. So as you know, we have 6 Blue Flag beaches in Plett, and we actually have 1 Blue Flag operator in Plett with 2 boats as well. And next to Cape Town, we have the most Blue Flags in the Garden Route in the Western Cape compared to Cape Town. So operational highlights, as I said earlier, we conduct research into international and domestic travel trends and analyze those trends. We do this through quarterly member surveys, office walk-in statistics, and participating with Garden Route Kangaroo and Westgrow Research and Analysis. We're very active with them in their programs to garner this information. We work very closely with the Garden Route District Municipality, with Westgrow, SATSA, SA Tourism, the Plett Business Chamber, the Plett Ratepayers Association, the B2 Municipality, and even the Plett Historical Society. So we work with key stakeholders in the industry, maybe not completely related to tourism, but on the periphery. Western Cape International Tourism stats for the past year. So Western Cape was recognized as the top province for overseas markets in 2022, and according to them, 2023 is looking just as positive at the moment. So this is a breakdown of what the overseas tourist arrivals were, what the direct spend was for foreign international tourists, what was the formal average bed nights? 2.7. We are at 2.03. So we're close. We're actually very close to being up there. We are one of the highest in the garden route with those bed nights. This is a breakdown. You probably can't read it, but it'll be available for you to read when we circulate it. So their top markets, as usual, the domestic market is Zimbabwe. It's people coming to shop or coming to Cape Town for shopping and just for generally to have a good time. But you can see the interesting thing is some of the markets that are growing, the USA, the UK is starting to pick up again, Germany, Netherlands. So the one that we are increased that they don't have reflected here is Israel. And the one that we need to tap into is the US market. So we're pretty much on par with UK, Germany, Netherlands, and South Africa. So Western Cape International two-way passengers, that's long-haul passengers or medium-haul passengers with, they're coming from other destinations, countries, has remained strong to date this year. So it's 104% recovery in comparison to 2019. So that's a really good statistic. And a 76% year-on-year growth compared to last year. So I think that's very important to point out because it shows that the Western Cape and us being part of the Western Cape is extremely at our advantage. More numbers, the growth, the breakdown, it's quite exciting for us. Domestic tourism recovered 78% in comparison to 2019 and before. So we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And just between January and June, it was an 80% recovery, which is really good news. And I like to think that, just general survey and general ear to the ground at WTM and with people at Indaba was that tour operators came back this year, but there's a lot more coming and booking for next year. So I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised for next year. Our business plan highlights, as I said, this was for the first 10 years with Plett Tourism. We target high value leisure and event customers and leisure and adventure tourism travel trade. That's our primary customers. Our markets, we invest resources and time in a balanced portfolio of markets with high spending power. So we focus, because we, like I said earlier, we don't have big, huge hotels. It's very difficult for us to compete for bed nights at 650 Rand a night for a group of, let's say, 200. We know that we can't. So we need to focus on our target our high value customers and niche markets specifically. We have anchor events to experience the Plett lifestyle, and we run strategic campaigns to reinforce that Plett it's a feeling, so that lifestyle engagement. We distribute to majority high value leisure customers, and we like to drive the conversion from intention to visitation. So it's very difficult because I know a lot of industry talk is we need bums and beds, we need bums and chairs, we need bums and seats. But what we have to remember is that an association or a local tourism office or destination marketing company like ourselves, our primary focus is to create the desire for people to want to come here. And although we try to put bums in beds and bums in seats, our primary focus is to get the people here. Putting bums in beds and bums in seats, that's where we work. You need to do that as well. And I think it's also often a misrepresentation or a misunderstanding that a tourism's office role is to put bums in beds and bums in seats. Although we try, and we have different ways and means that we do that, our primary focus is just to get the people to want to come here. And then they're going to investigate where they're going to stay, where they're going to eat, and where they're going to play while they're here. And we do have partnerships with partners that extend our ability to grow and to grow the desire for people to come and to create income into the town. We have partnerships with Cape Nature. We have partnerships with MTO Forestry. We have partnerships with WTM Africa. And those partnerships are very crucial for our existence and how we can manage to keep our town as highly brandable as it is. And we have enablers. Our team are our biggest enabler for the association. We have committed high-performing individuals that really are dedicated and passionate about what they do. So just to go through some quick marketing projects and office projects that we worked on this past year, we launched our concierge service, where we work with, at the moment we are focused on activity-based bookings, and that's through Activitar and Activity Bridge. And we focused on doing a activity, services and restaurant audit. And at the moment, coming into this new year, we are doing an accommodation audit. So you have to understand, so Tandi works on a CRM system, which is a digital in the cloud database. And it changes every single day, because we get a new product, we get a product that changes the phone number, changes the email, new photographs, new logo, new video. So we have an integrated system now that we've been running for 2 years, and we do audits. So we audit the services list. So we're going to finish with accommodation, and we're going to go back to services, and back to restaurants, and back to activities, and we're going to go back to accommodation again. So we do this on a regular basis. The system is called Zoho. It's a customer relations management tool, and we are looking at ways to integrate that into our other platforms. So sending out newsletters, sending out communication to our members, which we already do on Zoho, and possibly doing some accounting packages or invoicing packages that could be integrated with Zoho. Website development is constant, continuous. We recently launched our gig guide. Is one of the new things that are on the website. Anyone can upload their poster onto the website. If you have an event, you can upload it onto the website. We are hoping this forthcoming year, where we are now, that we're going to be doing a content audit on our website. Because how many pages is our website, Brendan?
5,
a gazillion?
10,000. Yeah, it's thousands and thousands.
Yeah, it's thousands and thousands of pages of information that need to be updated, looked at, some deleted, some added. So we're hoping to do that audit this year. We have a new event management platform that we launched last fiscal year, which it's a software platform which allows us to get data on events, and not necessarily even our events. It can be, there's a lot of events that we can put on there. And what it does is it gives us data on sales, where the sales are coming from, what's the profile of the people buying the ticket, what is the average spend, what is the return on investment compared to the expenditure of the event. It creates a supplier database, it has project budget management options, and that data that we collect assists us with garnering more brand sponsorships and marketing opportunities. Akasi Life Stories, we launched our first video at WTM this year, and we'll be going into our second video. So what we do is we highlight, we have the journalist mentorship program where we do the written word about these personalities, products and services, and now we're putting them in video format. And the second one we are hoping to launch again at WTM Africa 2024, and we'll showcase both of those at Indaba. Plett Trail app was a huge undertaking. Phase 1 is complete. That's the launch of the actual app itself. Phase 2 we are going into, which will include guide training and the addition of additional trail events. Our app statistics are amazing, considering that this is not an app that is in store. It's a free app. We have to promote it through a QR code. We've had over almost 3,500 visits to that page. Since its launch, 5,200 unique visitors, and the downloads are just shy of 2,800 downloads. People using this app, which is amazing for us, considering it is a free app. It's not available in the App Store yet. So we're hoping to do that maybe at the end of phase 2 or phase 3, making it available on the App Store. Plett Tourism events. We have Plett Conversations, which are generally held quarterly. They are industry specific, a meet and greet. There might be a Plett conversation with engagement with the mayor. Different platforms, different styles of Plett conversations. We do travel trade workshops where we will possibly do engagement workshop about WTM Africa. Maybe there's a luxury journalist group or an MTB group. Anchor festivals. So we have 2 current anchor festivals at the moment. That's the Plett Arts Festival and the Plett Ocean Festival. The Wine and Bubbly Festival was put on hold for various reasons, but we are looking at it and we are approaching potential sponsors to pick that up again. The important thing to realize is that our Arts Festival and our Ocean Festival have continued. So Arts Festival has continued throughout COVID, and the Arts Festival we started last year. And those are now recognized by Westgrow, the marketing arm of the Western Cape Tourism, as what they call jewel events for the garden route. And we have 2, which is amazing because there's no other town that has 2 jewel events other than Cape Town. So what that means is we fulfill a certain criteria where they have measurable excellent marketing, annual growth, and are including inclusivity and something that is uniquely yours as a town. And we've garnered sponsorship of 25,000 Rand for each of those events, and that's been an annual sponsorship. The Plett Arts Festival, we have a huge return on investment. That's the one that we've had with the least return on investment, and a 380% return on investment is big. So we invested a total of 180,000 in that, including Westgrow's contribution and private contribution. And we have a measurable return of investment that's just through media coverage. It doesn't include how many bed nights, how many people ate out. This is just through media coverage, through Plett Tourism alone. So we garnered 686,138 return on investment for the initial investment of 180,000. The Plett Wine and Bubbly, the last year we held it was in 2018, and we had a return on investment that was 800%. We're hoping to get back to that number again. And our first Ocean Festival, we're still working out the return on investment for this year's Ocean Festival with Westgrow. But our first Ocean Festival, we had an initial investment of 260,000 Rand, and we had a return on investment on 1.154 million. It's a 430% return on investment. So, we do the research. We struggle to do the research at the moment with the accommodation return on investment and the restaurants. So we're hoping to improve that going forward. But we know with the media, we've got it right now. So this is done through Red Book clippings, through Westgrow, through ourselves, through EP Herald, and everyone's kind of come on board to give us this return on investment. So it isn't a number that we've just kind of come up with. We've actually done the research for it. We're hoping that the events policy, which we are in progress with the B2 municipality, is approved by council soon, because we don't have an approved events policy in place. So we're pushing really, really hard to get that done. That is something that we're pushing hard for this year, and we did push it for last year, but it didn't get through, so we're pushing it for this year. And we participate in the eventing process to help clear application processes, to ease the permissions to host events. We're kind of a watchdog when it comes to preserving our natural resources when there are events being hosted on our natural resources. We try to encourage the events to be green and to be sustainable. And we're also involved with the development of a film policy, which falls in line with events policing as well. And this kind of outlines what we do for the town when it comes to events, facilitation. So we organize, produce, and market our own anchor festivals, and we do post-event surveys. We sit on the B2 Municipal Event Committee. We host a platform, a marketing platform for all events on application on our website. So any event can apply, and if they follow the application process and they're legitimate and everything's fine, it's free. It's a free page for them. And then we also have our gig guide, which is a free upload as well. We update a Plett calendar of events weekly. That events calendar is circulated to a media database. It's circulated by the B2 municipality. It is the official calendar of events for B2. And we like to help facilitate and manage corporate beach activations during season. That require beach activations, MTN, Cell C, Coca-Cola. So we manage and monitor those activations to make sure that they don't overlap, that they are as green as possible, they're not encroaching on our blue flag beaches, and that we maintain some integrity with those activations. You can see pre-pandemic, we were I'd say average about 150 events per year that we were hosting on our website in Plett. Dropped down tremendously, and already for 2023 we have hosted marketing for 88 events. And so by the time the end of December hits, we are going to be well above 122. I think the town generally hosts, gosh, I want to say around 60 events between the 15th of November and the 15th of January. So that's a lot. Those are little events, big events, medium-sized events, events of all shapes and sizes. So our business plan going forward. So, and I'm going to let Bruce explain some of this going forward as well. The past 10 years we have followed various business plans. For the remainder of this fiscal year, we have a business plan in place, and those key priorities are to raise the profile of local tourism, to provide communication to our members, to process inquiries for local and regional tourism, and to provide input into development of policy plans and programs that impact local, regional, and national tourism. So the main objective has been, and at the moment still remains, to increase visitation, increase domestic and international visitors, and to grow average spend across all markets. So part of our new agreement with the B2 municipality is to put together a new strategy, which will be implemented from July 2024. So going forward, we have quite a bit of investigation to do, where we're going to be conducting industry research on all different levels with the different stakeholders, the key tourism stakeholders, and we'll do engagement and research with you, our members, on trends, obstacles, and matters that might be arising in your particular industry, and engagement and research within our township communities on development and programs. And we're doing that with our B2 Municipal Local Economic Development Department. And after the investigation, then we'll go into a consultation process where we'll have outcomes engagement, and we'll have an integrated strategy with the B2 municipality, outcomes engagement with the members, you the members, and outcomes engagement with our township communities. So it will be primarily focused on where we currently stand with our business plan. We might be integrating a few more projects into our greater scope of things. And so the new strategy is hoping to be implemented from July 2024. So our existing business plan, which will be online as well, for July 2023 to June 2024, which is this fiscal year, those business plans will most likely be integrated into the new strategy and become the basis for the new strategy. But obviously we want to do the consultation process and do a little more engagement and to see as stakeholders what maybe some of the other obstacles are that we're not aware of. And exciting for us is that we know that Plett is in its prime position for future travelers. So what does the world want in travel right now? So destinations need to meet the need of a younger luxury traveler, what they call an intrepid traveler, an adventurer, an eco-warrior, a pilgrim, who is focused on sustainability, inclusivity, and the needs of diverse communities. And it's very important to remember that. So when you are putting your marketing plans and your marketing strategies together, that you understand what the new traveler is looking for. And we are primarily positioned for that in Plett. Transformative getaways, off the beaten track emerging destinations are key for travelers. That's one of the key indicators. You know, interesting guest itineraries, you know, unique foraging, amazing food experiences. Hiking is huge on the international, global scale when it comes to tourism. And nature tours. And we have that here at our fingertips, and we need to really capitalize on that. We need to, what was important for me is we need to take a closer look at the ways in which we promote travel to Plett, as there's a big focus to coloring everyone's world. And I think that falls really nice in line with our logo, Plett Tourism, because we use all the different colors. And that is a focus on the younger luxury traveler, the intrepid traveler, the LGBTQ visitor. It's opening up a world of travel, a destination of travel that is open to everyone. And I think with, you know, it just goes hand in hand with where we are positioned as Plett. The greens of our indigenous forests, our beautiful fynbos, the blues of our coastline, and, you know, just the vivid pictures on everyone's faces and the vitality of our tourism community. I just think it paints a really nice picture for Plett. And I think we're primarily positioned to go forward with that. That's all from me. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for me? No questions. Either it was very comprehensive or that.
Oh, there's one. There's a question.
What happened to the other? Can you tell us?
Oh, it's on our agenda. Should we go right into that?
The other?
What we're doing with the SLA and...
Sorry, can you just extend your question?
I'm referring to the other Plettenberg Bay Tourism Association that popped up because it is creating confusion.
Yeah, we are aware of that. Patty is looking at a route through the municipality where we can put a lid on that. There's certain commitments the municipality makes once we're appointed, where we can deal with that. The other issue is that the prime driver of that initiative, I think, has fallen by the wayside.
I don't have confirmation on that to say, but so I think, as Bruce said, we have taken it further. We took it further with the CPIC, but because we're an association and we're not a PTY limited or a closed corporation, we were unable to register. However, it is sitting at their tribunal at the moment. SALGA has been notified as well, because SALGA, in conjunction with the local municipalities, have the power to ask him to change his name without any legal recourse, because you cannot represent an official town function as such and with the name. There was an unfortunate incident at WTM Africa, and the outcomes of that is that that association has been banned from any reed exhibitions, that's globally. We have appointed a power of attorney should the need arise that we need to take it further. But we're hoping that over the course of the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 months max, that that company's, that NPC's name is changed. We don't have an objection to what their function is. Happy to work with them, but the name needs to change because it's misrepresentation in the industry. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, can I have if you approve of Patty's report, can I have a show of hands just showing your approval so we can pass it? Thank you very much. Patty, you're now going to address the presentation and approval of the annual accounts.
So it's my understanding, is that the annual accounts from last year need to be approved. Those were circulated with minutes from last year, and they're also available online. And then I am going to show the budget, which we worked on for this past fiscal year, which has not yet been audited. It's sitting with Bazaars as we speak, so it'll only be fully audited. What do you think, Liz, by the end of September?
2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks. Yeah, it just so happens that, you know, the financial year end, where the financial year end is and where the auditing takes place. Yeah, with the AGM, it's always difficult for us to present the year that you're reporting on those actuals, financials that have been audited because of the process. Do I need to present the, sorry, I don't have the, I can find it online if I need to present it. Last year's.
Has it been circulated?
It has been circulated,
Or
yeah.
just
So
ask for
last year's
comment
audited financial statements have been circulated. Are there any comments or suggestions? And they're also they are available online under last year's AGM notes and minutes, if anybody would like to see them again.
Does anybody have any questions arising from those financials? They are circulated. It can take a great deal of time to go through them during these proceedings. So we prefer it if people have a look. If they've got any questions or concerns, when you come to the meeting, you can address those. And between Patty and Liz, they will be able to answer your questions. Are there any questions?
Hi.
My question was with the expenditure on the History Festival of 100,000 Rand, and I hear it didn't happen.
The History Festival was a B2 municipality addendum to our budget, which was approved by the Local Economic Development and Tourism Office, and it was outside of our actual Plett Tourism budget, but it was to be paid over by us.
I can just expand on that. There's certain parts of what is reflected in our budget that is not actually in our budget. In other words, we don't have control over it. But our municipality says this is for that purpose, that is the amount, and because it is a tourist-related activity, it is passed through Plett Tourism. But we don't have any control over that. Understand what you're saying and the concern you express, but it's not really a question we are able to answer other than to explain to you how the process works.
Yeah, we don't, other than the municipality indicating that that money was to go to the History Festival, we don't have any other investment, financial investment in that festival.
Any further questions?
But I just suggest that the next AGM is scheduled after the accounts for that current year will be presented, because it's a bit of a non-entity reporting on accounts that are over a year old.
Yeah. The draft accounts should be up In other words, the council, the problem with that is in terms of our constitution, we're obliged to hold the AGM before the 31st of August each year. And that was based on an assessment financial year end of June, 31st of August, but unfortunately, historically, Mazars are a couple of weeks behind us.
Maybe, Liz, could you?
Yeah, so the year end is June, end of June is our financial year end. Anyone in any business knows it takes a couple of weeks for all the invoices and whatever to come in. So I normally am only ready third week of July, maybe end of July. This year was particularly awkward because we had a big festival, the Ocean Festival, right straddling the financial year end, where there were some events still happening in July, but the budget for it was in June, so I had to wait an extra few weeks for those to be over. And then any auditor takes a couple of weeks to slot in. But I know from other companies I'm involved with, or even our timeshare things, at the AGM they approved the audited financials, which are normally the previous. And I think you do you have the ones of this year?
I have the actuals. I
30th of June.
I don't have the other, what you submit to Mazars.
Yes, so Patty has got an overview now of the current year. It's just that it's not audited. And normally there's not really any change. It's just that it's not audited.
So the accounts are or can be made available for examination.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think historically they have been available prior to the AGM, and as Liz says, they are unaudited, but generally speaking we don't have any problem with auditors, so they pass them as is.
Yeah.
So if those accounts are not up, we can put them up on the website. And any questions that you may have arising from those accounts, which will be 30th of June this year, please feel free to address them through Patty, and they'll be answered.
Thank you. So this kind of gives an overview of where our budget was at. You'll see that we received from the municipality 3.4, and that we through various sponsorships, joint marketing initiatives, etc., we had a budget of just over 4 million, 4.085, and a little bit of change. And because we were in a kind of in-between, as Liz said, we kept a surplus, so we didn't spend all of that money. That money tides us over when we don't receive our funding from the municipality on the 1st of July. So you can see it's broken down where we have the budget allocation from the municipality, event funding, income, and you'll see the actual to date on the other side there, interest received, which is just general, and then the income from membership fees. And remember that we had we put down our membership fees. We only put them up for this fiscal year. So we knocked them down during COVID because we felt that 1.5 was a little bit too much for our members to pay. So we knocked it down to 1, but we've now put it back up to 1.5. Our general office costs are in the red there. What we spend on tourism and travel trade, it's WTM, that's research, that's engaging with tour operators, journalists, travel professionals. Our festival and event expenditure, what we have spent on products and development of those products, and then lastly our media social media, website promotion and spend. It totaled 3,904, so we're trying our best to grow that percentage of outside contributions. And I think now that we have a proper agreement in place with the municipality, it's going to be a lot easier. You know, it's very difficult to approach a sponsor, to sponsor whether it be the Plett Trail app, whether it be the Plett Ocean Festival, or you know, something smaller, if you cannot give them a good return on investment. And important for them, for that return on investment, is, you know, a 2-year or 3-year contract with their event. And that's what the brands want. You know, they don't want to have to every year go into renegotiation. So we're hoping that going forward now, post-pandemic, a new agreement with the municipality, that we can offer some security to brands and to sponsors going forward. Does anybody have any questions about this outline? Or maybe want to ask questions about where some of the expenditure is?
Hi, Patty.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
The membership fees, it's only about 100 members. If you
So
divide it by 1,500, maybe it's 150 members.
This was at 1,000 Rand member. Is that correct, Liz?
There was part of the year,
That was at 1,000
really
and then,
changing.
yeah.
Some members also joined during the year, so these pro rata amounts.
Okay, that's not my question. So
yeah.
it's between 100 and 150 about, okay, give or take. In your view, is that a large percentage of the businesses around Plett, or would you be chasing to get that up to a much higher number?
So we are chasing to get it to a higher number. We feel it's the right time to do that. We have over 635 members in total on our website. So that's free members plus paid members. So this is paid membership contribution. So being a paid member comes with added benefits that the free members don't get. So you have to remember we have a funnel of about an additional 500 members who are currently listed as free members. And that's what we're hoping to grow, because we already have them. They're already part of Plett Tourism. They're on the free platform. They don't receive all the benefits that a paid member gets, but they do receive some benefits. And so part of that job with the person we've identified as the PR and marketing will be to work very closely with Tandi so that we can grow that membership contribution. It's something that we've identified as a big need. It's difficult because everyone must understand what the benefits are of being a paid member. I think people understand what the benefit is of being a member of Plett Tourism, but being a paid member has other benefits, and that's what we're strategizing now, is meeting with existing members and potential new but paid members of those benefits to be a paid member. So it is something that we are aware of and that we're working towards. Yeah. Anything else?
Any further questions? Thank you for those contributions. I think I've already addressed you on the memorandum of understanding. The municipality have given us an expanded 3-year contract to carry out the functions of a local tourism office, destination management, destination marketing organization, which covers the sort of full ambit of what we do. In terms of the relationship with the municipality, in real terms, it is very much expanded involvement and an expanded portfolio. It's very welcome. As Paddy said, you know, when you talk to sponsors, people like that, the fact that you've got a period of tenure is huge in terms of raising sponsorship, raising support from financial institutions. So it very much changes the game plan, the MOU, which is in the process of being finalised here as we speak. Are there any questions on the MOU?
Sorry, can I just ask a question? The tender that was submitted has been approved.
Correct.
Yeah, it was for an amount of 3.96 million.
Correct.
And has it been approved as you presented it?
No, we've been given a 3-year budget, and the total budget is actually 9.9 million, so it's been dropped from 3.6 to 3.3. Hence the need to look elsewhere for additional funding, because we're a very underfunded institution. And whilst the team has done a remarkable job, you know, you can't do a $10 million a year job for $3.5 million. It just is impossible. We did a comparison with Zermatt in Switzerland a few years back. They face the same challenges as we face, seasonality, and they're a ski resort, we're a beach resort. So we looked at them as a comparative thing, and I think at that time their budget was of the order of 125 million, and with 36 members of staff to do the same job that these people are doing here. So not so little, sorry, big people, big people. Yeah, so it does put constraints on what we're able to do. It's as simple as that. But now that we have the 3-year contract, we can go to people and give them extended sponsorship contracts and that sort of thing, and bring in additional funding and membership. You know, it's, you know, Plett Tourism people need to understand they need to be paying members of Plett Tourism. You know, Plett Tourism has done an amazing job in bringing business into the town, and one needs to reciprocate and respond to that by saying, you know, 1,500 rand a year is a couple of coffees a month, you know. That's all it is. So we really urge that for people to get properly on board with this, understand that it does cost money, the budget's inadequate, and that obviously the more Plett Tourism has at their disposal financially, the more expensive the process can be. I mean, we do no outside the country travel. At this stage, we do that all by long range. Really very important that we are able to attend World Travel Market in London and various other tourism things which will take us exponentially further ahead. So just strong urging there.
Sorry, just a follow-up question. Are you quite confident that you'll be able to make up the shortfall on balance with the plans that you put together?
You know, the plans will be executed, but the plans don't include, you'll note, things like overseas travel, and that's going to travel markets all around the world. So there are things that our budget, you know, basically when you've got a below par budget, you have to do those things that are most effective for the money, and that's why you'll notice Patty spends a lot of her time talking about return on investments and things like that. In other words, you've got to try and multiply the money to achieve the desired result. So we believe the contract is likely to be extended further, and the longer it is in place, the more people will buy into what we're doing. I'm talking about the sponsorships. The more it empowers the organization. You know, even if you want to employ premium staff, and you go to someone who's got a good job and say to him, look, we'd like you to come and join our team, this will involve, and he says, well, what's the length of employment? And you say, well, we've only actually got 12 months. I'm sure you don't have to be a genius to understand all the problems that arise when you don't have longevity, but this is a huge milestone forward for us, and it's paved the way for, I'm sure, an ongoing situation. You know, there are many reasons why it has taken this long, because the first 3-year contract Plett Tourism had right at the beginning was a massive success. People were talking 34% a year annual growth, operators in the town. But anyway, it's a long story. It has many chapters to it and many personalities involved. All I can say is that the relationship at this stage is very good. Everybody's bought into what needs to be done, and you know, we're very confident of the road forward now. Anything else, Chris? Are you finished?
Is it possible in any way that local businesses in toto, all local businesses, by way of a very small levy or payment, could contribute to Plettenberg Bay tourism?
Timothy, that's what businesses should be doing. You know, I don't have a business in this town. I don't earn a single rand from Plettenberg Bay. But if a tourism levy was raised, I would be more than happy to contribute towards it. You know, the fact that there's an energetic tourism operation in this town means everything to this town. That's where we get Woolworths from. That's where you get Checkers. That's how you get your haircut in the main street. That's why you get wonderful coffee shops, plenty of restaurants options. These are things that people like me benefit from, although I actually don't earn an income from this town. So this is something we will be very much looking at. In fact, I've done a draft document a couple of years ago. But because we didn't have a long-term contract, it just hasn't crystallized.
I mean, all businesses in the town benefit
There we
from
go.
tourism. It's their lifeblood.
That's it. There's no reason, you know, a very good way to do it.
There should be a synergy between the two.
That one can target. In fact, added to your rates, you may not even know this as Plettenberg residents, by something, a statutory instrument that was passed a long time ago, there's a tourism levy on your rates. It's just the tourism organisation doesn't get it anymore, the municipality gets it. So it is something that we need to address, because I don't think anybody in this town would object to a very small addition to their rates bill that is a guaranteed tourism levy. And when you spread the load like that, you know, again, return on investment, if I've got to pay another 20, 30, 100 rand a month, and I get all this as a resident in this town, what a bargain. Any further questions? This is the glasses top. Trevor.
Good day, everyone. My name is Trevor. I'm not speaking on behalf of the municipality, I'm speaking on behalf of Trevor Top Tours. I do township tours as a business in the community. But before I dwell into whatever that I have to say, very please take a moment of silence. If you remember last year, there was an homophobic attacks in the township, and there was a guy from Somalia that passed away. So that's why I'm asking for a moment of silence.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, cool, thanks. The reason why I asked for that moment of silence, I remember it was, I think it was the 31st of August last year, and it was the AGM as well. And I left the township to attend the AGM, and that's when the guy from the township passed away. I was doing, we were filming actually everything that was happening in the township, as well as with that young lady speakers. We were documenting the whole story in the township. For people like us who are anti-xenophobic, it really hurts us, you know, to see that kind of violence happening in our communities. And I'll tell you why it happened, simply because of jobs. That's why people, they ended up fighting against each other, The other one says, hey, you're taking my job, I'm not from South Africa, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, somewhere. But at the end of the day, you're all. So, yes. So as a local, what I've really experienced in the township, and also someone that has been involved in the tourism for a very long time, over 10 years, the township tourism economy is not really growing. And I've been saying that, I don't know. And these small challenges that you're faced with, whereby people they end up fighting against each other simply because to end the live. It's simply because some people they can't create their own jobs, right? So I saw the 4 pillars there of marketing. Anyways, by the way, great work, Teddy, great work, Bruce, to Tandy, and to the whole stuff. You know, you guys have been working hard. I also saw like now it really makes great sense. What I would love to ask, out of the 4 pillars, I saw the one for culture and heritage. Can there be programs that are done by Plett Tourism and in cooperation with the members of the association, whereby you guys can actually come and visit the township? Maybe once a month you visit Cracks, once a month you visit Plettenberg, so that you can actually get to know and understand and see potential of growth in the businesses that are already in the township. And also where there are no businesses, to see if ever there are any other business ideas that can be injected in those businesses in the township. That's all I'm asking you. Because with that, I'm telling you, because you go to Cape Town, you go to London, there's people there, and they're doing stuff there. And tourists, they're going from town all the way to the township. And you go to Johannesburg, they go to Vilakazi Street, and they explore. There are monuments there, there are restaurants, there are backpackers, you know, so, and you come down here, and we're the #1 tourism destination town in the world, not just in Africa, but in the world for the past 10 to 12 years. And yet, still going ahead. I know tourism is a marketing tool. I know that's what tourism focuses on. But I just, for the sake of inclusivity, and also for the sake of economic exchange, I would really love to see that happening in our communities. Because there's a lot of potential. And also, I think that will bring unity as well to some of the crafters and also to some of the small business people in the township. There's great guys who are doing amazing, great work with their hands. Some of them they're from Zimbabwe, some of them they're from Malawi, some of them they're from Tanzania, they do sculptures, they do all sorts. And some of them they present their work here in town. You know, so I think if ever we can create and make sure that the other side of the end too, you know, there's a flow of economic activities that are happening there. I think we can eliminate a lot of them. We can eliminate one, crime, poverty, you know, and also parents having to be able to spend time with their kids, because most of our parents, they work, and pretty much they work for peanuts, you know, and they don't spend really so much time with their kids. So that's the part that I would like to ask. That's the first one. And secondly, I would like to, I told a friend of mine that I'm coming to the AGM, and he said to me, Trevor, can you please ask Plett Tourism to be inclusive when it comes to the board members, that there should be also, you know, other races as well, so that they can actually get to speak about some of the challenges that are happening also where they, you know, within the space that they. So that will be the second one. I know that Noxie was there. I know that Will Dean was also there. Yeah, so that's not me. That's a friend of mine that sent me that message just to ask that. And also, I would love to invite you guys on the tour on the 2nd of October as part of the Plett Arts Festival, so that you guys can actually get, because my great-parents arrived here in the mid-40s. My parents were born here, I was born here, so I know the history of this town. So I would really love to take you on a township tour that is educational and fruitful, and it will really make a lot of sense, so that you guys can actually be able to discuss the township. There was an article that I forwarded to Petty, I think it was around May, about a journalist that covered the story from Bosisref all the way to Bantu, moving from Bosisref communities, New Horizons to Bantu. So if people from overseas, they can come and spend time in the township. I want you guys to come spend time with us and get to understand, you know, our culture. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trevor. I'm going to answer the last part of that first. I'm sure Patty will liaise with you on that. The other aspects, Trevor, I don't want to go into sensitive history, but there are two legs to the development thing, and you've heard this before, in Plettenberg Bay or any other town. The one is the tourism side, getting the people here. I know it expands beyond that, but that's its primary function, to get the tourists into Plettenberg Bay. It is then the function of the operators to create attractive facilities to get the people into their actual tourism facility. What I can say to you, though, is that with staff realignments and that sort of thing, and commitments which we didn't have previously, we now have a far better cemented relationship between economic development and Plett Tourism. So Plett Tourism can generate the ideas, which it has for many years, and we have a commitment from Economic Development Department. They know they have access to the requisite financial resources, and the two parties can come together and develop it. But that is very much a refocus of the new SLA and that sort of, because everybody understands what you're saying and the desirability of it. But unfortunately, we had a budget of 20, 30 million a year. We could do it all ourselves. But on a limited budget, we need other role players to come to the table. Otherwise, we're generating ideas and nothing happens. And that is a big part of the history here. I could go on for a lengthy period of time as to who's responsible for that. I'll wait. But thank you very much for your contribution. Are there any other comments or questions?
I have a question. Is there a limited period to be an unpaid member? Because if you can be an unpaid member forever...
Are you a paid or an unpaid member? Sorry?
Paid.
You paid. Otherwise, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. No, look, you are 100% right. You know, I don't know whether it's common to other towns, but certainly in Plett, we have a tendency towards accepting all the benefits but not being prepared to make any contribution. Another massive area is the security area of this town, which I've also been very, I think. We have the most amazing security system. I would back it against anything on this planet. We will get help to you quicker, more effective help than in any other town in the entire world. When people are asked to make a contribution towards that, they're very reluctant to do so. And yet safety and security is a prime thing. But I don't want to divert it, but I'm sure pressure must come. You know, if people want to benefit, for goodness sake, 1,500 Rand a year. How many do most of us spend on having coffees out in a year? Probably 5 or 6 times that, you know.
I was thinking about a little bit of pressure, so...
Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to give you the 5 minutes. That was...
I was going to answer Trevor's question with one, but I think he's left. Should I respond to his first question?
Which one?
Understanding and knowing what they need in the townships.
Yeah, I know a lot of actors. Just very briefly,
Okay.
Patty,
Well, it
people
was
have been here a long
outlined
time.
on this particular slide, that slide 31, that's part of our process going forward, is to do a very specific investigation with a consultation process as part of the new strategy.
That is in our memorandum of understanding with the
So that is going to be a crucial part of what we do going forward. Sorry, Trevor, I thought you... So I was just going to say, I just wanted to answer your first question. On slide 31, we are going to be engaging on that level to understand. We're going to be doing industry research on township tourism from a regional, provincial, and national perspective, which we have actually done quite a bit of that research already. We will engage in research with our members within those township spaces, which have grown. So we have seen a growth of township tourism members. Not necessarily paid members, but definitely free members. So across the board, and we do have paid township members as well. So we've seen a growth in that, but we will engage on a level to see what the trends and obstacles are, and also through the consultation process, so that we can identify the needs, the wants, differentiate between the two, what our research shows, and we go to the municipality with that. And with that, we can go with a strategy where we can identify how we're going to do this and what we're going to do. And we've done it on a consulting basis. So I just wanted to say that. And then regarding the board itself, we have diverse representation on the board.
Yeah.
We are in the process of appointing the community representation. Yeah, we do have colourful representation on the board.
Yeah. We do, and we're always looking for people who are credible and can make a contribution, you know, across the races. But in particular, we have looked for people from the other community, and unfortunately, people who have been tasked with that job within the community have failed us. So it's a fairly complex issue, but we are very available to appoint a very diverse board. It obviously benefits us because we can get the feedback that we need for good decision making. Anyway, thank you for your questions. Is there any other business?
Can I commend and congratulate Plettenberg Bay Tourism on a very successful year.
Well, you're congratulating the wrong organisation, but the sentiment is wrong. Board of Verges, Plettenberg Bay Tourism, we Plett Tourism. But thank you very much.
Thank you. We know what you mean.
Thank you very much, Timothy. Really appreciate it coming from someone of your standing.
Can I make one other comment? Can I venture to suggest that more emphasis be given to the fact that Plettenberg Bay is in the Cape Floral Kingdom, the beauty and the diversity of the fynbos, of indigenous flora in the area, and also the bird life, both on the ocean and on land. We have wonderful bird life here, and I think perhaps more emphasis should be given to all of that, the natural biodiversity of the area.
It is part of our adventure in nature. You know, we focused heavily on the marine life this past year, and the Plett birding route and birds and the fynbos and flora are, yeah, they're definitely on our agenda for our next business plans.
If you would read the MOU, you will see that the new business plan is only to be launched.
The new business plan will only, so it only gets, we'll submit it and it'll only be signed off in April, May 2024, and then it'll be launched in July 2024.
So that period between now and then, you know, obviously the existing business plan will continue, but will be to carry out a re-examination of these various issues that have been brought to the table, including your suggestion, Timothy, and we don't want to rush it, we want to do the research, and then a new strategy will be launched in July next year.
Yep. Anything else?
Any other questions that I... Okay. The date of the next meeting will be about this time next year, towards the end of August. As I said earlier, we're required to hold the meeting by the end of August, so we normally push it as far forward as we can to try and accommodate things such as audit accounts. Liz?
Maybe we should amend that clause so that we get audited facts.
Yeah, that's certainly an idea. The next,
month, maybe a month.
Yeah, push it to the end of September. No, I think we should do that because it's always a bit of a issue to a greater or lesser extent at these meetings. I think when we initially set the date, we thought end of June, July, August, 2 months we should have the auditor's account. Well, it doesn't work out like that, never has. So Liz, remember to arrange that at the next board meeting, and we have no difficulty in doing that. Any other questions, suggestions? Thank you once again very much for attending. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. You are an amazing group of people, and pleased to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.